morning, Debbie, and thanks for talking with us today.
Morning. Thank you for having me today.
So it's June already. It's Seniors Month, but we are also in the midst of a pandemic, and we've been in sort of lockdown or semi-isolated mode for more than 2 months now. We've had lots of time to think and plan, yet estate planning is one of those topics that people really kind of tend to avoid. It's not one of their favorite topics. You shared with me some statistics in a study that shows 56% of Canadians don't even have a will. And of that number, 44% of those that do, 50% of them admit that they're outdated. So what should we be doing? What should we be thinking about?
Well, the first thing is we really should be talking. We should be having the conversation. There's no time like the present or like a pandemic to get us thinking about our affairs and what an estate plan looks like. So the very first step I would take is just to have that conversation if you're a couple, to begin speaking to one another and just say, here's what I'm thinking, here's what I like, here's what I don't like.
For sure. So you need to choose an executor. You need to figure out what you want to happen with everything in your estate. Because if you don't, it's going to be tied up for a very long time.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It can take a very long time. And even when things are wrapped up nicely with a cute bow on top, they still take a lot of time. But choosing an executor really is one of the very first steps. And we encourage our clients when they're thinking about choosing an executor to treat it like a job application. So what are the qualities they would like their executor to have? What kind of experience would they like their executor to have? And what does the role look like? Is it a really complicated estate where they require certain knowledge? Or is it simpler where a different type of executor would be the best fit?
And so what do you need to consider when then you're drawing up your will and choosing your executor then? What will an executor do with that once you've passed?
So I always say to all our clients and in seminars, you're choosing your executor is like choosing the CEO of your company. So your estate becomes in essence a company, and your executor now is running the day-to-day operations. The people that you choose in your will, which are named as beneficiaries, they're kind of like the shareholders. So the executor is working for those shareholders. They have the duty to let them know what's going on, provide financial statements, obtain their consent for various steps. So they are essentially working this business and running the day-to-day operations.
Now, is this something that you can do on your own? I mean, I know will kits are available and things like that, but tell me where doing it on your own involving an estate planner and how do you choose one of those, or simply going to a lawyer. Tell me about the differences and the pros and cons of each of those.
So when you're doing your estate plan, we like to take a holistic approach. You kind of need a whole bunch of different team members when you're thinking about doing this. To create your will, I mean, there's various ways to do that. You can go meet with a lawyer, have one drawn up with the lawyer. We're currently in the pandemic, so that's proving challenging, and lawyers are definitely working around and adding technical aspects into that. You can also do the online will kit, so something like Willful or LegalZoom or items like that, or you can even handwrite your will if you're in a pinch. I don't highly recommend that because you could sometimes put the wrong wording in and it's a whole other ball game. But the thing that you really want to do, as I said at the beginning, is have that conversation. So involve everyone that's part of your life. Not necessarily to plan out your will, but think about, where do I bank and who's my financial planner? And have we discussed our healthcare plans, and does the doctor know what my wishes are? So kind of bringing the whole team together is really important, and ensuring that you're covering all those steps.
And so you're an estate planner. So tell me what your role is in all of this. How do you help us?
Our role is kind of the quarterback. We take all those puzzle pieces and we try and put them together, because when we're all professionals and we're working for a client to the best that we can, we tend to get stuck in our silos and we only look at that one part of a client's plan. So our role is to step back and take maybe, you know, a 30,000-foot view of the estate from the very top and work through our clients and say, well, you know what, have you considered aspect B? Have you gone to the bank to ensure that your bank accounts are set up properly? Or do you have a named beneficiary on your life insurance? Or maybe you're not supposed to because you want to set up a trust. So we take the approach of looking at it through the goggles of the executor. And we're also professional executors, so having hundreds of estates that we've managed, we're able to look at it from that point of view.
All right, well, there's a ton of information there, and I think probably this interview will spark more questions. So if people want more information, where can they go for that?
They can find us on etpcanada.ca, or they can always call our 800 number, which is 866-309-0ETP.
Thanks, Debbie. Any final word of advice?
Just again, let's start the conversation. It doesn't have to be scary, and you'll feel so much better after you do your plan.